or one of the hardest concepts for me to grasp, is truly loving myself. That's kind of like a touchy subject for me, because I spent so much of my life purposely trying to not love myself in an attempt to show people how selfless I am, or how not narcissistic I am, or how unself-absorbed I am, because everything in my heart is tuned to wanting to love other people. All my passion, all my fulfillment, or most of it I should say, is rooted in me being able to make other people's lives better. That's just who I am. It's just how I'm tuned. That's just how my soul and my heart and my mind is tuned to be. But somewhere in my life, I was taught that self-love and narcissism and self-absorption were synonymous with each other. I was taught to believe, and I don't know where it came from. Maybe I wasn't taught this. Maybe that's just how I naturally was. Maybe that was just one of my natural flaws. I don't want to put the blame on nobody, because I don't know exactly where it came from. I got some ideas, but that don't even matter right now. The fact is, most of my life I thought those things were synonymous, and because of that, I purposely, to prove how selfless I was, or I thought I was, I stripped myself of the opportunity to love myself, because I didn't think it was possible to love myself and still have enough love to do the things for other people that my heart and my soul and my mind is tuned to do. That caused a lot of issues within myself. Like that held me back a lot. That caused a lot of depression. It amped up the anxiety. It led to isolation. It led to resentment. It led to loneliness. And even in that loneliness, I didn't even have, there's people who say that they could be around 10,000 people and still feel lonely. That was me a lot. And because I didn't know how to love myself, even when I was feeling lonely, I didn't even have myself to be able to depend on to seek out the companionship or the love that I was looking for to cure my blues from feeling lonely and isolated and having resentment. I never was great at loving myself, and it prevented me from being the best version of myself, because each time that I required, or most of the times that I required self-love, were pivotal times when I needed to look out for myself or do something for myself that would help take me to some next level in life. But I would always dim that. Like I didn't think I was worthy of that next level. Man, this is hard. This is so hard for me to hear myself say out loud. Especially because there was a point of time where there's some people who know me, especially from, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite talking about, oh, back in my day, I could throw that football over that mountain. Don't want it to turn into this, but it's kind of about to turn into that a little bit right now with this example that I'm about to use. There's probably some people who knew me from back in my, at the peak of my DJing days, that would never in a million years imagine that I didn't know how to love myself, because I was shining bright during that time period in my life. But I also know that truly within, I still didn't love myself enough to make sure that I didn't have to depend on the attention that I got from being in the spotlight to feel loved. And so it might have looked like it at one point in time that I loved myself, but it was transactional. It looked like that because I was getting energy from the crowd. I had a pretty solid reputation as an entertainer or as a DJ or whatever. And it was like, that made me feel I was getting enough love from everywhere else that I didn't need to, or I felt like I didn't need to love myself because I was getting enough of it from everywhere else. And so, yeah, in those moments, I probably projected an air of self-love, but that's because I was feeding. It was very conditional upon how much love I was getting from other people. But the pitfall in that was when all that went away, where was I at?
Lonely, abandoned,
isolated, and resentment.
Because I didn't know how to love myself enough to not need those things to actually feel good about myself. And man, I tell you, if you have ever experienced the lack of ability to truly love yourself, you know exactly what that cycle or that downward spiral looks like when that burden of lack of self-love starts to become
too heavy.
You start going into the depressive states, anxiety is ramped up, you get like grumpy and grouchy towards other people. It's just a big mess. And I've realized, especially in this last year and a half, since I've really been dedicated to like going to therapy, I've realized that I need self-love in order for me, like it's an absolute must for me to love myself, to have enough endurance to make the type of impact on people that my heart wants to. There's no possible way that I would be able to touch the amount of lives that I hope to if I don't love myself, because I'm just going to get burnt out again. Because, it's going to, even right now, if I didn't love myself enough, the fact that I know that a lot of these videos and stuff that I've been posting lately, like I know they're not getting a lot of views and it's probably not a lot of people seeing them. And there's not a lot of feedback that I'm getting or interaction from them. But because I love myself enough, I know now that my desire to continue moving forward, doing this stuff anyway, is not dependent on how much love I feel like I'm receiving from outside or external sources like it was in my heyday as a DJ. If I didn't love myself enough, I would just stop doing this. But this is part of self-love for me. Like venting to the camera, these are almost like therapy sessions for me. This is a way for me to unload. Like I said, it started off as an assignment from my therapist to just, she told me that when I'm in moments where I feel like I need to talk to her and she's not accessible or I can't access her, to get on the camera and pretend like I'm talking to her. But then it also turned into this thing where I realized that it might not be now. It might not be happening in or at an abundant level, but this is also going to contribute to my fulfillment by impacting somebody else's life who might be able to relate to everything that I'm saying right now. It might not happen for another 2 years. I might post this video right now. Magically, the algorithm gods make this video pop up on somebody's timeline 2 years from now. Like I said, I don't know. I don't even know how the algorithm stuff works. But somebody might not see this for another 2 years. The person who this would actually benefit might not see it until 2 years from now. And I'm all right with that. Because I love myself enough to know that my worth ain't dependent on how many people are actually going to comment or like or share this video. I'm doing this as a form of self-love because it's like killing two birds with one stone. I'm getting an opportunity to have like a therapy session with the camera, but I'm also getting an opportunity to create a piece of content that I can just put out there and wait for it to impact somebody in the way that I want it to impact them, because it's not a transactional thing anymore. And that all came from me learning how to love myself. I still ain't perfect at it. It's still days where I feel like, man, like who am I to be able to enjoy a good, abundant life? Or who am I to be able to have a fulfilling career or whatever when there's people out there who ain't got nothing? That lack of self-love tricked me into believing that, like, that's how I had to think. But I'm getting better with it. So I appreciate you, anybody who is watching this, because this is allowing me to vent. And in return, I hope that something that I said resonates with you in a way. And this is for the people who struggle with that same or go through that same struggle of not fully knowing how to love themselves, because I know it's a lot of us out there. But maybe something I said today might help you be able to get closer to learning how to properly love yourself consistently, and to be a consistent thing. That's my hope. But for now, thank you for the therapy session. Go be great. All right, peace.